Hey, so earlier this week was Indigenous Peoples Day, the holiday formerly known as Columbus Day. And so that's over with. And yet, funny thing, it turns out that I am still living and working on lands stolen from the Tongva people. And so it seemed appropriate for me to spend more than a day continuing to listen to the audiobook of An Indigenous Peoples History of the United States by Roxanne Dunbar-Ortiz. So still early on in it, I might have more to share later, but right now it's giving me flashbacks to like 5th grade when our teacher had us do a unit on the Mayas, the Toltecs, and the Aztecs, of which I remember basically nothing except that we drew some pyramids and a general impression that like they did human sacrifice. So it wasn't like a great loss to lose a bloodthirsty, savage, primitive culture like that. And now looking back, I'm like, oh, that was kind of the history class equivalent of, well, what were those Indians wearing when they got attacked, right? Because if they were wearing human sacrifice, then they were basically asking for genocide. And not that my teacher ever said that, but that kind of was the impression that I walked out of 5th grade history with. And if that makes me a uniquely terrible person, then great, tell me that in the comments, and I will actually be relieved to know that I was the only one who somehow got that impression that there were circumstances that could actually justify genocide. I would be relieved to know that. Another thing that was never specifically said in my class, to my knowledge, is that it really takes a lot of chutzpah to look at another culture and religion and say, well, they're bloodthirsty and savage and therefore undeserving of continued existence, when at that same historical moment, your culture and your religion are telling you that you should burn people at the stake in Europe, and also, by the way, you have a God-given right to go anywhere else in the entire world and kill, rape, enslave anyone you meet there in the name of your religion, and your God will be pleased with you for that. Okay, so I'm not trying to do some like academic tit for tat, like, oh, very fine people on both sides here. I'm saying we bother teaching history to children because we say that those who do not learn from history will be condemned to repeat it. And what I learned in 5th grade, I learned the history of this country through the same implicit lens of white supremacy that the colonizers of the 14, 15, 1600s used to justify genocide. That's what I learned. So it seems only fitting that I and people who were miseducated like me should take some time this week to go back and really learn it for reals as our way of honoring Indigenous Peoples Day.